Alrighty, YouTube, welcome back and thank you for tuning in. So today we have a bit of a mixed bag for a video over here. We have two clutches that just dropped. One of them, unfortunately, looks like the girl is completely slugged out, which is quite heartbreaking, but we will check her out. And then the next girl looks like she has some nice viable eggs, so we will collect them and I will show you guys how I set up my egg boxes and incubate the actual eggs, collecting them from the female. But let's go check out that first girl real quick and see what the damage is. Okay, so first up we're gonna deal with the bad. So this is my beautiful black axanthic girl. Her name is Ikasumi, and it unfortunately looks like she has completely slugged out for this season, which is a real shame. It's absolutely gut-wrenching. When I opened her tub and saw this, I saw two slugs this morning when I first checked her out, and I was like, "Ooh, cool, she's laying." And then what followed was more slugs, and it looks like that's all she had in her for this year, which was a real shame. I was looking forward to this clutch. Can't hide my disappointment. I almost didn't want to film this video because I saw the other girl was laying and it was healthy eggs, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'll film a little egg collecting and egg box setup video. And then I saw this girl and I'm like, oh, maybe I don't even want to film today, but you know, it is what it is. It's a part of breeding. Even though I was really looking forward to some beautiful dark black axanthic babies, because that's always the thing that people are DMing me for, saying, hey, when are you going to have more black axanthic stuff coming out? And I thought I would this year. I still have another black axanthic clutch in the incubator, but this was a visual to visual, so it could have been some really cool stuff. But yeah, you can see there it is a absolute disaster. Slugs on slugs on slugs. I don't really know what happened. She laid 7 beautiful, perfectly healthy eggs last year, and that resulted in some really cool babies, but this year I guess her body just wasn't feeling it, and she slugged out, which again is a real shame. I don't think that has to do with anything with her temperatures or the ambient temperatures in the snake room, since we have 5 other clutches that have laid this year and they've all been very, very healthy. But you know, it's a part of breeding. Even if this was a very anticipated clutch, we got we got some weird slugs in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, she laid 7 healthy eggs last year and all slugs this year. I'm pretty sure she's empty right now. It's been a few hours, but we'll still let her go for a couple hours more and see if she lays anything else. But we will collect those later on our own time. I'm in no rush to get to them, but just wanted to show you guys since this was a clutch that dropped today. But hey, it is what it is. Everyone will go through this eventually. And hopefully we will try again next year. At least the nice thing about laying slugs is that she doesn't lose much body weight or body condition, so she's still in very good shape, and we will get her cleaned up and put back on food, and yeah, we will see what the future holds for her. Hopefully she does a little bit better next year, but it is what it is. That's what happens when you deal with living creatures. Sometimes they do well, and sometimes they slug out, but hey, she's healthy, she's curious, she's active, and yeah, she's still a wonderful part of the collection. Alright, but let's go check out the other clutch, and I will show you guys how I set up my egg boxes and collect the eggs. Okay, so before we go and check out what I'm hoping is the actual healthy, good clutch of the day, there are 2 things that I like to do before we actually take the female off the eggs, and the first thing is to set up the actual egg box, so we have everything all good and ready. So we are going to pop off the lid. This is a 6-quart egg box from I think the company is the Container Store. I've had these for years. It's 6 quarts or just about, maybe a little over, but it's their standard shoebox size. And I also have the Easy Hatch egg tray, which if you have a larger egg box, you could just take the whole clutch and pretty much put it in the perlite directly. That'll work too, but I have these little tiny egg boxes, and I like to separate out the actual eggs and just keep them off the substrate. It's what I've been doing for a few years now, and it's been working good for me. But that's just how I do things. There's a million ways to set up eggs and keep them incubated in a healthy way, but you just gotta find out what works for you. So we are going to just weigh out the perlite here on the scale. I've found that a good ratio for perlite to water for these types of tubs is about 80 grams of perlite. Alright, we got 82. That's good enough. Little over, little under, won't hurt anything. But we will then pour in a little bit of water. Now, I don't like to go too heavy on the water. I like to keep the eggs off the substrate and away from water. So we're already pretty much at what we need. I like to go between 120 grams and 125 grams. Alright, we got 127, that's fine. Got 82 grams of perlite, and then added water to 127 grams for the total. But that is how we set up the egg boxes. I have the egg box on, as you saw. So this is with the weight of the actual egg box included with the scale. But I just like to weigh things out and keep things pretty consistent here. So what we are going to do from here, I like to call the one finger method. We're just gonna swirl that badge on around, mix everything up, get it all homogeneous. Sorry if I'm only talking into your left earbud right now. But here we go. So that is a completed egg box right there. Again, 80 grams of perlite and then, 45 grams of water. So that is the ratio I've been using for a while. And then we add the egg tray on top. We can squish it down a little. Beautiful. So you can see that the actual perlite isn't touching any of the divots in the egg tray. And it is not wet in any way. It's just slightly moist. And we will also add a sheet of the Glad Press and Seal. Move this light over. So this will keep all the moisture in throughout the incubation. There are no air holes in my egg boxes here. I will typically burp them a couple times just to get some fresh air in the egg boxes. Probably once or twice during the incubation period. But here we go. We got the perfect egg box right here that I've been using for a few years now. It's been working good. So the water I use is probably around 90 degrees, I'd say. It's not too hot that it's going to instantly steam up the egg boxes, and it's not too cold that it's going to take forever to heat up in the incubator. But here we go. The egg box is ready, and we are on to the second step of preparation before we pull the eggs. So now, the second step of preparations before we actually pull the eggs is just preparing the bath for the female. So this is just a shallow bath of warm water. Again, not too hot, not too cold. But we will also add a little bit of betadine, also known as a providone iodine solution. but what that does is just like a basic antiseptic. So I like to think it helps clean up the egg smell off the female a little, and also it'll help slightly disinfect the cloaca, and it's totally fine if she drinks a little bit of the bath water as well while she's soaking and rehydrates. And we will also add a nice paper towel for good measure. And then throw that back in the rack for the female to soak while we collect those wonderful pearly whites. And finally, here is the female, who just laid a beautiful clutch, I am assuming. So she is totally beehived around the clutch, which is a good indication that she is all done laying, instead of having her body a little more sprawled out and strained, which can indicate that she is still actively laying. So I will assume she is empty, and we will pull her off the clutch right now. You can see right there is one rollout egg, which we will still incubate until there is no debate on whether it is healthy or not. I assume everything's good, and we will get her off right now. So this is a beautiful GHI clown female that I produced a few years ago. I believe this is her third clutch over here, and I am so proud of her. Now, I can't lie, she's a bit of a cantankerous snake, even when she's not on eggs. So she's very flighty and hissy, and we'll see if we can do this without losing any blood. I don't think there will be any problems here, but let me just show you how I pull these girls off their eggs, and how we actually separate and set up the eggs in the egg box for the final step of incubation over here. So instead of using my hand directly like a true reptile enthusiast, we have our head redirection tool, which is a wonderful empty paper towel roll. So you could use a snake hook or whatever, or just raw dog it, as the kids say. But we are going to get her away, kind of open her up a little. And the first thing I want to do is I want to grab her tail over here. You can see she's already hissing like a creature. So, beautiful clutch already. So we're just going to yoink her off while we have the opportunity, instead of talking about it. And we're going to throw her in the bath real quick. So, looking at her right there, she was definitely empty. So, we have this one rollout egg, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 beautiful eggs. I think she laid 7 last season, so wonderful. Love to see it. So I didn't talk too much there. I just wanted to get her off while I had a good opportunity. But once you redirect her head, I just like to grab the end of the tail, because of course the tail of a ball python is a little pointy at the end, and you don't want her to try to grapple one of these eggs with the point of her tail, because if she actually gets it in, she could puncture it. I've never had that happen, but I imagine it's a real possibility if you're not careful. Because when you're lifting her off, she just wants to grab to anything and kind of restrain herself to her clutch. So instead of giving her opportunity to grab one of the eggs, you just kind of want to grab her tail, levy it off, and pull her off as smooth as possible. Of course, once she's done laying, you don't want to do this in the middle of her actual laying process, but here we are. We have some absolutely beautiful eggs, especially compared to that last heartbreaking clutch with the black axanthic girl. But with the bad comes the good, and I am more than happy to add these eggs to the incubator and call it a win for the day. So we will pull these guys off and separate them and get them into the egg box. So with the female in the tub right now, let's see if we could grab these eggs off. Oh yeah, these are easy. Alright, so we got the clutch right there. They weren't too stuck to the tub. And then finally we have this rollout, which is a little questionable, but we will still incubate it. And now we have the clutch all ready. We have the egg box all prepared. And we will combine the two. Little polymerization. So we will start with this wonderful rollout egg. So with these, I've had mixed success. I would say 75% of the time, making a number completely up right there. These will be good and fine and dandy, but I wouldn't be too surprised if that turned a little funky in a couple weeks. It is what it is. But we will put him in the front of the egg box so I can see it easily when it's actually in the incubator and keep an eye on it. But that is the rollout egg, and then from there we will just separate the rest of the clutch. It doesn't feel like these guys are too stuck together, so we will do some easy separations here. You want to go with a nice rolling method. You never want to pull these guys apart. Beautiful. Egg numero dos. Ooh. Let's not tip the camera over on the clutch. That is never good form here. Next one. Easy, slow rolling peel. These aren't very stuck together, so these are pretty easy to separate. So we got 5 left to separate here. For the sake of time of the video, I might just separate them on my own and set them up, but you never want to pull them. That's the main focus of this video. You just want to roll them gently, take your time, take as much time as you need. Usually if they're really stuck together, I could put my thumb in there and kind of wiggle them apart, but you just never want to pull and tear or cause anything that would actually damage the shell of the egg, obviously. They just have a sticky coating to them to where they can stick together in the clutch and not roll around while the female is incubating them, but we will set these guys up and then I will show you what is next. And here we are with the power of movie magic. We have 8 seemingly perfect, beautiful, healthy eggs in the egg box, all separated out. Again, if you had a larger egg box, this step is kind of pointless. You could just plop them all in and they'd probably be fine, but I like to separate them, and then what we'll do now is we'll just candle them quick and make sure the embryos are facing up, which again might be a pointless endeavor, but something I've done for years now, and I'll just continue doing it until science proves me wrong and tells me it's totally pointless. But let us check that out right now. Turning the lights off, it is real spooky in here. So we will start off with the rollout egg. And again, I just like to make sure the embryos are facing up. It doesn't have to be totally perfect. And I'm not going to stress out about focusing. I don't like to keep the light on them too long here. There we go. So the embryo is up. I don't know if you could see that little wiggle there, but the core of the embryo is right over here. You could see it as a little dot. So that rollout egg was already facing the correct orientation when we put it in there. So I'm not too worried about it. But again, here we are. Another little egg. You can see the dot right there. That is the core. Give it a little wiggle. You don't have to wiggle it. Honestly, you probably don't have to candle these at all. It's a bit of a old school thing going on here, but sometimes when they lay eggs, the embryo is totally facing the opposite direction of what it needs to, but the school of thought is that they will reorientate themselves within like the first 24 to 48 hours of being laid anyways, so putting them in, so candling them and trying to reorient them might be totally futile in the end, but it's something I've done for a while. So you can see the ring of the embryo there, and we are good. That is facing up. So this one, we could turn just a tiny bit. You could see the ring right there in the center right there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but that is good to go. And the final one. These all have veins. These all look absolutely beautiful. So we will turn that the opposite direction a little bit. And we are good. We will place that back there. And I am absolutely happy with this beautiful clutch of healthy eggs. So with all that being said and done, we will now seal this wonderful clutch up with the great product known as Glad Press and Seal. We will seal it tightly. Again, there are no air holes at all in these boxes, but I will probably burp the egg boxes at least once or twice in the period of its incubation. But these should be all good. Hopefully that's in focus enough. We will just string it tight. Make sure it is wonderful. And with that, we are good to pop on the top and plop it in the incubator. I will label what the pairing was and the date on top of the press and seal with a Sharpie, but I'll keep that a secret from you guys until we actually do the actual egg hatching video and clutch update. But that is all there is to it. Now all that's left is to put this thing in the incubator and clean up the female's tub. And then finally, we will just add this beautiful clutch that we just prepared to our wonderful incubator. There are many like it, but this one is mine. This seems like a good spot for the clutch. And again, we have that roll-out questionable egg in the front here. Can't really see it, the lighting's bad, but we will keep an eye on that, but I think everything should be good. And here is the incubator. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, let's just clean up that female and finalize the process here. Here is the dirty egg-smelling tub of the girl that we just pulled off her eggs. And through the power of movie magic, we will clean this up. And we will also clean up the tub of the poor slugged out black axanthic girl, and we will get her situated as well. But here we go with this one. We got boop boop. Alright, so we got it all cleaned up, totally swapped out with the substrate, totally sanitized up, and now we can add the female and put her back. Alright, gave her a little mini scrub down with the betadine bath, but she is back now. Looking beautiful. She is empty of all egg and ready to start her year post-clutch. So typically my females will shed out within a couple weeks of laying eggs and then usually go back on food, no problem. Sometimes they will go back on food before shedding out. I just had a girl do that who laid last week, but that's not too typical. Usually they'll shed out first and then wait to start eating again, but I don't expect any issues from this girl. She laid a beautiful clutch for me, and again, it definitely sucks with the last girl that totally slugged out here, but that is breeding in a nutshell. You get your good, your bad, and you gotta learn to eat your L's, even if it's a clutch that you've been waiting all year for, and hopeful anticipation, but we will try again next year and see what she brings. But yeah, between two clutches, we got one clutch with 0 good eggs, the other clutch with 8 good eggs, and we will move on and see what we get. Very excited. Even this girl that just laid 8 eggs, you can see she is in wonderful condition, not too skinny at all. And yeah, she's totally empty, ready to go. She might even start eating before she sheds out, but nonetheless, she is wonderful. Thank you for watching this video, YouTube, on the good and the bad and how I set up my egg tubs, and we will see you in the next one. Alright, bye-bye.